Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. His name was Alex. From a very young age, he looked at girls and felt a curious tug inside him. Not because he liked them, which he did, but because he often wished he was one of them. In the quiet secrecy of his room, he used to wonder how it would feel to have long hair that he could tie in a ponytail or let cascade down his shoulders. He dreamed of wearing pretty dresses that twirled when he spun around. But the world outside his room was not so understanding. Every time he tried to express his feelings, he met stern faces and mocking laughs. His father, a robust man with broad shoulders and a dense beard, always said, "Boys should be strong and tough." And so Alex decided to bury his dreams and desires deep down, trying to suffocate those feelings that so bewildered him. When he looked in the mirror, he saw a reflection that he did not recognize. A young man trying to be something he wasn't. Alex began to work out, lifting weights heavier than his heart. His muscles grew bigger and stronger, while inside he felt smaller and weaker. Every day he looked more like the man people expected him to be, yet he couldn't shake the longing to be someone else. He met a girl, Lily, whose smile was as warm as a cozy blanket on a cold day. She saw the man that everyone else saw, strong, muscular, a pillar of masculinity. They became fast friends, and eventually they started dating. Alex felt a kind of comfort with Lily, yet the buried truths began to strain inside him, wanting to break free. In the midst of his growing muscles and an increasingly manly exterior, tiny whispers of his true self peeped through. He admired Lily's dresses, her makeup, and the way she styled her hair. He found himself wishing he could talk to her about such things as equals, share tips, and maybe even swap clothes. But fear clung to him, warning him that revealing his secret might make him lose her. Alex's eyes often lingered on the soft, silky dresses in stores, imagining the gentle caress of the fabric against his skin. He fantasized about painting his nails in various hues, adorning his hands with colors that expressed his moods and feelings. One day, unable to hold back the tidal wave of suppressed emotions, Alex took a brave step into a world he had only dared to visit in his dreams. He visited a shop far away from his home, where nobody would recognize him. His heart raced as he bought a wig with long, wavy chestnut hair, a dress that glittered with tiny sequin stars, and a pair of glossy black shoes. That night, Alex locked himself in his room, trembling with a mix of excitement and fear. Carefully, he slipped the wig onto his head, feeling the unfamiliar weight of the hair on his shoulders. He gently pulled the dress over his body, its nylon lining softly grazing his skin, and stepped into the shiny shoes. For a moment, he stood still, taking in the person staring back at him in the mirror. A reflection that he recognized, a reflection that felt right. He twirled, the dress dancing around him, and in that movement, he found a fleeting moment of happiness. Alex spent hours in his secret attire, trying to capture and hold on to the feeling of being his true self, even if it was just for a little while. Unbeknownst to him, the seeds of his new beginning were sown, yet the journey forward was filled with unknowns, and Alex, with his secret now a tangible reality, stood on the precipice of discovery and acceptance. Alex found a hidden pocket of happiness in his new secret world. His room became a secret garden where he could shed the muscular, tough exterior and allow himself to be gentle, soft, and vulnerable. Every time he put on the wig and the twinkling star dress, he felt a warmth in his heart, a sparkle that was missing in his day-to-day life. At night, after spending hours being the person he truly wanted to be, he would carefully take off the dress, gently remove the wig, and wipe away the small amount of borrowed makeup from his face. His fingers would linger on the fabric of the dress, tracing the sequin stars as if trying to memorize their feel, before he tucked it away hidden in the back of his closet, behind his heavy workout gear and large, masculine clothes. He hid his secret self, but in those quiet moments before sleep, he would dream of a world where he didn't have to. One day, as Alex was walking through a market, he saw a small shop tucked away in a quiet corner, almost hidden from view. The shop was filled with all sorts of beautiful clothing, makeup, and accessories. His heart pulsed in his chest, drawing him towards it. The shopkeeper, an older woman with kind, understanding eyes, smiled gently as he entered. Alex, although nervous, felt a strange calm in the shop, surrounded by the soft fabrics and vibrant colors. He spent a long time browsing, touching the soft materials, and admiring the beautiful clothes. He picked out a lovely sundress, colored like the soft pink of a sunrise, and a pair of simple yet elegant sandals. His hands shook slightly as he paid for them, but the shopkeeper didn't ask any questions, just offered a gentle, knowing smile. Back in his room, Alex once again transformed. The sundress felt light and airy against his skin, the sandals snug around his feet. He looked at his reflection and saw a person who was both strong and soft, masculine and feminine, and he wondered if the world outside his secret garden could ever understand. Alex began to collect more items for his secret wardrobe. He bought a second wig, this one with straight blonde hair, more dresses, skirts, and blouses in different styles and colors, makeup in various shades, and several pairs of shoes. Every piece was a small token of the person he hid from the world. He learned to apply makeup by watching videos online, practicing until he could create a look that made him feel beautiful. Alex enjoyed experimenting with different colors and styles, each one expressing a different facet of his hidden self. Even with his secret world flourishing, his daily life became more and more difficult. He smiled through his days, acting the part of the strong, masculine man everyone believed him to be, all while feeling like a stranger in his own body. In the solitude of his room, surrounded by soft fabrics and vibrant colors, Alex could breathe. He danced to quiet music, allowing himself to be lost in the rhythms and melodies, forgetting, even for just a little while, the heaviness in his heart. He often thought about telling Lily. Her image would appear in his mind as he twirled in his secret garden, her warm, comforting smile seeming so inviting. But then, the fear of losing her, of her looking at him with disappointment or disgust, would paralyze him. The secret lived inside him, growing with each passing day, but secrets, no matter how well kept, have a way of stepping into the light when least expected. And one day, the door to Alex's secret garden creaked open just a little, allowing someone else to peek inside. Alex lived with his secret for a while, and each day it weighed heavier upon his shoulders. His heart ached with the need to share his truth with someone, especially with Lily, but the fear of losing her, of being rejected and alone, kept his lips sealed. One sunny afternoon, Alex was in his room, lost in his secret world. He wore a beautiful teal dress that fluttered around his knees and a brown wig that fell in a straight, sleek style around his shoulders. His eyes were adorned with a gentle sweep of eyeshadow, and his lips painted a soft pink. He felt peaceful, happy even, as he moved around the room, quietly humming a tune. He didn't hear the front door open. He didn't hear the footsteps approaching his room, and he didn't hear Lily calling his name, her voice gentle, yet laced with concern when he didn't respond. Lily slowly pushed open the door to Alex's room, and time seemed to stand still. Her eyes, wide and filled with surprise, met Alex's, who froze, a deer caught in headlights. Silence hung heavily in the room, a tangible thing, filled with unspoken words and held breaths. Lily's voice, when it finally broke through the silence, was soft and trembling. "Alex," she whispered. Tears welled up in Alex's eyes, spilling over and streaming down his cheeks, disrupting the carefully applied makeup. His body shook with sobs, the fear of losing everything, of being rejected and unloved, washing over him like a tidal wave. But then, something beautiful happened. Lily, her own eyes shimmering with tears, stepped forward. She moved slowly, gently, as if approaching a frightened animal, and reached out, placing a tender hand on Alex's arm. "Alex," she whispered again, her voice soothing and calm. Alex couldn't find words. His mouth opened, but only soft sobs escaped, his body trembling under the weight of his exposed secret. Lily wrapped her arms around him, pulling him into a gentle embrace. She didn't speak. She didn't ask questions. She simply held him, offering her presence as a comfort, a safe haven in the storm that raged inside him. Eventually, Alex's sobs softened, and he found himself enveloped in a quiet calm, Lily's gentle warmth surrounding him. He pulled back slightly, looking into her eyes, finding not the rejection he feared, but understanding and kindness. In a voice barely above a whisper, he began to speak. The words tumbled out, a torrent of emotions, fears, and hidden truths. He told her everything, about the longing he'd felt since he was a child, the secret world he'd created in his room, and the fear that had kept him silent for so long. Lily listened, truly listened, to every word. She didn't interrupt, didn't judge, simply allowed him to share his story, his truth, in his own time. When he finished, the room was once again enveloped in silence, but it was a different kind of silence, one filled with understanding and acceptance. Lily, her voice gentle and reassuring, finally spoke. "Alex, I love you for who you are, all of you. Your secret garden," she gestured around the room, "is beautiful. You don't have to hide it. Not from me." And in that moment, something shifted inside Alex. A tiny, fragile seed of hope began to sprout in the garden of his heart, its tiny leaves reaching towards the warmth of acceptance and love. In the weeks that followed, Lily stepped into Alex's secret world, not as an intruder, but as a welcomed guest. She learned about his favorite dresses, the way he liked to do his makeup, and the dreams he'd hidden away for so long. Lily began to help Alex explore this part of himself more openly. They shopped for clothes together, Lily helping him choose items that made his heart flutter with happiness. She taught him more about makeup, sharing tips and tricks she'd learned over the years. They even shared a few clothing items, swapping dresses and shoes, exploring this new facet of their relationship together. Alex's secret garden, once a place of solitude and hidden truths, began to blossom and grow, nurtured by the light of acceptance and love. Alex's heart was like a garden that for the first time was truly starting to bloom. With every new morning, he woke up feeling a little bit lighter, a little bit more himself. He looked at Lily, always by his side, and knew that he was lucky to have her. One sunny day, as light poured through their curtains, Alex and Lily sat together sipping on warm tea. Alex's eyes flitted down to his teacup and then back to Lily. He whispered, "I want to try more." Lily, understanding him without needing more words, nodded. "Let's do it together," she said, her voice soft and encouraging. Shopping for undergarments was Alex's new adventure. Alex and Lily found themselves in a store with rows and rows of colorful, delicate things. Alex's eyes were wide, soaking in the pinks, the laces, the tiny bows, and the myriad of different styles that were on display. Choosing a lovely bra and panty set, adorned with little flowers and made of soft fabric, Alex felt a tinge of excitement. He also picked out a cute nightdress, pale blue and so soft to the touch. When they got home, Alex tried on his new items, looking at himself in the mirror. The bra and panties felt different, new, but also right in a way he hadn't expected. They were gentle against his skin, a constant reminder of the steps he was taking to be his true self. Now, there were also new routines to explore. Alex began to shave his body, starting with his legs. The first glide of the razor was a little scary, but as the soft skin appeared from beneath, a sense of rightness washed over him. His legs, smooth and soft, looked nice, and he gently rubbed lotion over them, a small, content smile playing on his lips. With Lily's help, Alex learned to adjust his eyebrows, making them a little thinner, a little more arched. He learned how to apply mascara, feeling his eyelashes fan out and frame his eyes. The lipstick, a gentle pink, felt smooth as it glided over his lips. Alex looked in the mirror, seeing himself, really seeing himself looking back. His heart fluttered in a sweet, gentle way. And then came the dresses. Oh, the dresses. Alex and Lily spent hours poring over different styles and fabrics. Alex loved the ones that spun out when he twirled, creating a cascade of colors around him. He chose a dress one day, a lovely one with flowers and a hem that danced around his knees. He slipped into it, the fabric cool against his newly smooth skin, and twirled. The dress spun with him and he laughed, a genuine, heartfelt laugh. Alex always felt a flutter in his stomach when thinking about his family. His family, who knew him as their strong, ever-helpful son and brother, were unaware of the blossoming garden inside him, the garden that was becoming more vibrant with every passing day. One day, as he twirled in his floral dress, the silky fabric whispering around his legs, a realization gently settled within him. He wanted a new name, one that reflected who he was inside. He wanted to be known, to be seen, by a name that mirrored the delicate, blooming flowers in his soul. So after a lot of thought, he whispered the name that felt right to himself, Alexa. When he told Lily about his decision, she looked into his eyes, recognizing the blend of excitement and fear that swirled within them. Alexa, she repeated, her voice cradling the new name with warmth and acceptance. It's beautiful, just like you. Alexa's heart fluttered, the new name sounding like a sweet melody in Lily's voice. It felt right. It felt like her. The thought of sharing this with his family, however, was a hurdle that seemed insurmountably high and wide. Her family was traditional, bound by a perception of norms and expectations that didn't allow much room for a garden like hers to bloom freely. One evening, sitting with Lily, Alexa whispered, I want to tell them, Lily. I want them to know me, to really see me. Lily, ever her rock, gently squeezed her hand. And we will, Alexa. Whenever you're ready, we will. After days turned into weeks of pondering, Alexa penned a letter to her family, her hand trembling as she let her heart bleed onto the paper. She wrote about her garden, about the years she spent trying to hide it, and about the beautiful, terrifying journey of letting it bloom. She wrote about becoming Alexa and how it felt like stepping into a sunlight that she'd been yearning for all her life. The day she sent the letter, Alexa felt a myriad of butterflies rioting in her stomach. Fear, hope, anticipation, and a fragile kind of relief fluttered within her. She had done it. She had shown her family the garden that was her true self. Days trickled by in a slow, tense stream until a response came. Her family, drenched in their traditional views and norms, were finding it hard to comprehend, to accept. Their words were kind, yet distant, gentle but soaked in confusion and pain. They loved Alex, but they didn't know Alexa, and they didn't understand how the son they knew had become a stranger. Tears spilled from Alexa's eyes as she read the words, each sentence piercing her budding heart. Lily held her, providing silent, steadfast support as sobs racked Alexa's frame. Yet within the pain, within the rejection and acceptance entwined in the words from her family, Alexa found a fragile strength. She was Alexa, a woman with a garden that was no longer hidden, no longer a secret. She was living her truth, even though it came with its own thorns and wilted petals. In her pain, Alexa understood that her family's journey to acceptance, if it came, would be slow, perhaps spanning across seasons of change. And in that understanding, she also accepted that their journey was separate from hers. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.